Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat at eto na naman si Teacher Rocky para sa isa na namang learning video para sa inyong lahat. Yes, kamusta po kayong lahat? Katulad na naipangako ko, ang video na ito is a walkthrough to the DepEd Memorandum number 17 series of 2025. Pag-uusapan po natin ang mainit-init na usapin tungkol sa performance monitoring and evaluation system para sa school year 2024 to 2025. Okay, so huwag na natin patagalin to. Diretso na tayong talakayin ang tungkol sa DepEd Memorandum number 17 series of 2025 entitled Interim Guidelines for the Department of Education Performance Evaluation and Monitoring System for Teachers in the School Year 2024 to 2025 na ilinabas noong February 7, 2025. So sa video ito, tatalakayin natin ano ba ang mga dapat nating alamin at intindihin tungkol sa paggagawa ng ating performance monitoring and performance evaluation and monitoring system para sa school year na ito. So dadaanan natin ng mabilisan ang lahat ng mga importanteng dapat maintindihan natin para maihanda natin ang ating PEMS. Ayan. PMES, sorry. So, according to this DepEd Memorandum number 1, faithful to its commitment to providing support to teachers to be able to deliver quality education for Filipino learners, the Department of Education or the DepEd reviewed the Results-Based Performance Management System or RPMS issued as DepEd Order number 2 series of 2015 or the guidelines on the establishment and implementation of the Results-Based Performance Management System or RPMS in the Department of Education, ensuring streamlined, improved, and simplified processes and requirements for the performance management system. So, ang Department of Education daw ay naggawa ng pagre-review tungkol sa DepEd Order number 2 series of 2015 para ma-streamline, ma-improve at ma-simplify ang proseso na ito. Number 2, as the comprehensive guidelines for the revision of DepEd Order number 2 series of 2015 are underway, DepEd hereby issues the enclosed interim guideline for the DepEd Performance Management and Evaluation System or PMES for teachers in the school year 2024-2025. So yung revision daw na tinutukoy nila, revision ng DepEd number 2 series of 2015 ay hindi pa tapos. Kaya ilinabas itong DepEd Memorandum number 17 series of 2025 which highlighted yung interim, yung salitang interim, which means meanwhile, provisional, or temporary. Okay? Hindi pa ito yung revision, ha? Hindi pa ito yung guidelines na nire-revise nila. Ito pa lang ang ilinabas nila since kailangan na natin mag-submit ulit para sa school year na to ng ating performance monitoring and evaluation system. Okay? Dahil ang guidelines na tinutukoy nila is still underway. Okay? Patuloy pang pinoproseso at the moment. Number 3, these interim guidelines shall lift the suspension of the implementation of the performance management system for teachers per DMOSEC 2024-001 or the guidance on the implementation of DepEd Results-Based Performance Management System or RPMS relative to the Executive Order number 61 series of 2024. So kung naaalala natin last year, naglabas ang Pangulong Marcos ng Executive Order number 61 series of 2024 suspending the submission of the RPMS dahil nga gusto niyang aralin at i-revise ang DepEd order na ito. So, itong interim guidelines na to will lift the suspension. So, tatanggalin na yung suspension So, tuloy ang paggagawa ng performance monitoring and evaluation system. Hindi na nga lang RPMS, but it will be called PMES this time. Number 4, this memorandum shall cover all teachers in public elementary and secondary schools as well as community learning centers, including alternative learning systems, madrasa, special needs education, and special science teachers. It shall guide the ratees, raters, approving authorities, and other stakeholders in managing and evaluating teachers' performance aligned with the PPST. So ito ang gagamitin nating guideline para sa school year na ito. Number 5, furthermore, these interim guidelines for PMES for teachers shall be implemented starting the 4th quarter of school year 2024 to 2025. Only PMES-related activities conducted upon the issuance of this memorandum shall be recognized and accepted to provide the rating of teacher performance. Malinaw yan ha. Mag-uumpisa daw ang PMES na ito ngayong 4th quarter ng school year 2024 to 2025. And that, nireiterate dito, only the PMES-related activities that was conducted upon the issuance of this memorandum. Pagkatapos ilabas yung memorandum na to, lahat ng mga activities conducted, yun lang ang i-recognize at tatanggapin bilang teacher's performance. Number 6, all other provisions of DM 008 series of 2023 which are not affected by these guidelines shall remain in effect unless otherwise repealed, modified, or amended by subsequent policies. So, gumagana pa rin yung ating DM 008 series of 2023, the multi-year guidelines. Yung hindi mababanggit sa DepEd Memorandum na to na kasama sa DepEd Memorandum 008 ay patuloy na in effect. Number 7, for more information, please contact the Bureau of Human Resource and Organizational Development. Number 8, immediate dissemination of this memorandum is desired. Okay, pag-usapan naman natin yung enclosure to the DepEd Memorandum number 17 series of 2025. So we have Roman number 1, performance management and evaluation cycle and timeline. So number 1, paragraph 1, in the interim, the performance cycle of teachers shall follow the DepEd RPMS cycle prescribed in DepEd Order number 2 series of 2015 as anchored on the Strategic Performance Management System for Government Agencies mandated by the Civil Service Commission through Civil Service Commission Memorandum Circular number 6 series of 2012. So, susundan pa rin natin yung na-prescribe na RPMS cycle. So, this is the example. So this RPMS cycle includes number 1, performance planning and commitment, and then number 2, performance monitoring and coaching, number 3, performance review and evaluation, and then number 4, the performance rewarding and development planning. So ito pa rin yung same RPMS cycle na ginagamit natin before. This will be the same PMES cycle for teachers for this school year. So this timeline of PMES for teachers for school year 2024 to 2025, phase 1 will be the discussion of target objectives. So ang gagamitin natin dito is a copy of the IPCRF, and then the persons responsible are the raters and the ratees, and the schedule is on the beginning of 4th quarter. Phase 2 will include full period classroom observation 1 and or 2 and the coaching and mentoring session. So, ito na yung isasagawa na natin yung ating mga classroom observation. So, ang kailangan natin ditong tools is the COT or the Classroom Observation Tool. And the rater also needs the copy of PMCF for the coaching and mentoring session. And then this will include the ratees and the raters. And then the schedule is anytime within the 4th quarter. And then the coaching and mentoring session should be done regularly during the 4th quarter. Phase 3 is the performance assessment of teachers with final rating in the IPCRF. So, ito na i-assess na yung naging performance ni teacher using the final rating in the IPCRF. So, ang kailangan tools is the IPCRF, and the persons involved here are the raters, the ratees, and approving authorities. This is scheduled after the last day of classes. Pagkatapos na ng klase, ginagawa ito. Phase 4 is the finalization of individual development plans. Okay? So, yung gagamitin nating tools dito is the IPCRF IDP, which will be done by both the ratees and the raters, and will be done after the last day of classes. Pagkatapos na ng last day of classes, saka na natin ginagawa yung Phase 3 and Phase 4. Next one, Roman number 2, PPST-based objectives for proficient and highly proficient teachers. Paragraph 3, the performance management and evaluation of teachers shall use the PPST-based tools for proficient and highly proficient teachers, katulad ng ginagawa natin sa mga previous RPMS natin. Number 4, teachers who will use the proficient teacher tools are expected to be professionally independent in the application of skills vital to the teaching and learning process. Ano natin yan? Taon-taon naman natin ginagawa yan. Next one, under Roman number 2 pa rin, paragraph number 5, the following teacher positions, including those of similar rank to teacher under the alternative learning system, madrasa, special needs education, and or special science education shall use the proficient teacher tools. That includes the teacher 1, 2, and 3. The additional teacher positions of teacher 4, 5, 6, and 7 that shall be created by virtue of Executive Order number 174 series of 2022 shall likewise use the proficient teachers tool. Okay? So, yung tool for proficient teacher ang gagamitin nitong mga additional teacher position. Number 7, the following master teacher positions, master teacher 1, 2, 3, and 4, shall use the highly proficient teacher tools. This includes the master teacher 5 position that shall be created. Next, paragraph 8, for school year 2024 to 2025, a set of PPST-based objectives shall be prescribed for the performance management of teachers nationwide. These are the remaining objectives from the multi-year implementation of the performance management for teachers, completing the cycle covering all 37 indicators of the PPST. So, yung mga gagamitin po daw nating mga indicators for this school year ay yung mga iba pang hindi pa natin nagamit dun sa multi-year guidelines. Diba? For 3 years yung multi-year guidelines natin. So, iba-ibang indicators ang ginamit natin for the first year and the second year. Yung natirang indicators to cover the whole cycle ng 37 indicators ng PPST, yun ang gagamitin natin for this school year. Number 9, there shall be a total of 14 objectives composed of classroom observable indicators and non-classroom observable indicators. Number 10, ito tandaan natin the plus factor shall not be included in the list of objectives for the teacher PMES. Wala na tayong plus factor, kaya 14 objectives lang tayo for PMES. Now, figure number 3, objectives for proficient teachers for school year 2024 to 2025. So, ito yung 14 objectives para sa mga proficient teachers, which is composed of objective number 1, classroom observable indicator. So, ang mga classroom observable indicators is objective number 1, and objective 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Yan lahat po ang mga classroom observable indicators. So, 8 classroom observable indicators para sa proficient teachers. And the non-classroom observable indicators will be objective number 2, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So, 6 na non-classroom observable indicators. Para sa mga highly proficient teachers naman, classroom observable indicators will be objective number 1, objective number 3, number 5, number 7. So, 4 na classroom observable. While the non-classroom observable indicators will be objective number 2, number 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So, 10 non-classroom observable indicators, a total of 14 objectives para sa mga highly proficient teachers. Next, number 3, assessing PPST-based objectives. Paragraph number 13, the performance assessment shall focus on the demonstration and achievement of the PPST classroom observable indicators and non-classroom observable indicators, which are translated as objectives in the performance management and evaluation of teachers. Paragraph 14, 1 or 2 full-period classroom observations shall be required to be conducted in assessing the performance of teachers for classroom observable objectives. These observations shall be conducted at any time during the fourth quarter of school year 2024 to 2025 with the schedule agreed upon by the teacher and the rater. Ito, tandaan natin. Ito, importante, maintindihan natin. We can do either 1 or 2 classroom observation for the fourth quarter at yun ang gagamitin natin para sa ating performance monitoring and evaluation system. Paano to? So, there shall be 2 scheduling options for the full period classroom observation. Tandaan natin, ang classroom observation this time should be a full period. Kung 30 minutes ang full period mo, kung 45 minutes ang full period mo, kung 1 hour ang full period mo, this should cover the whole classroom observation. So, you can choose either option A or option B. Ang option A, you can use 2 classroom observation. Option B, isang classroom observation. So, sa paragraph 16, figure 5 outlines the option A schedule, detailing the distribution of the objectives, classroom observable indicators that shall be observed in the first and second full period. If you choose to do 2 classroom observation, ito yung magiging schedule and distribution of classroom observable indicators. So, ibig sabihin, if a proficient teachers opted to go for a 2 classroom observation, sa first observation, ang i-observe lang o i-rate ng ating ratees are objective number 1, 3, 4, 6, and 8. 5 objectives lang. For the second observation naman, ang i-observe ay ang objective 1, 4, 5, 7, and 9. 5 classroom observation lang. So, kung titingnan nyo, both objective 1 and objective 4 are rated. Para sa mga highly proficient teachers naman na gustong magdalawang classroom observation, ang i-observe sa unang classroom observation will be objective 1, 3, and 7 only. Sa second full period classroom observation, objective 1, 5, and 7. So, kung mapapansin nyo, both objective 1 and objective 7 ay i-rate sa parehong classroom observation. Tapos, yung dalawa, tig-isang classroom observation lang. So, a total of 3 indicators lang ang i-rate ni ratees para sa bawat classroom observation. So, ito naman yung mga teachers na gustong isang classroom observation lang ang gawin. So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng indicators ay i-rate ng ating observer during the classroom observation kasi isa lang ang gagamitin natin. Paragraph number 17, prerequisite and consequential teaching learning materials and documents such as lesson plans, instructional materials, assessment results, and other teaching materials shall be used as basis for assessing non-classroom observable objectives during the pre- and post-classroom observation conference. So, lahat ng mga materials na ginamit natin for classroom observation, ito yung mga document na kailangan natin or the means of verification para sa ating mga non-classroom observable indicators. Paragraph 18, documents considered as means of verification or proof of demonstration and achievement of the objectives shall not be required to be organized in a physical portfolio for submission at the end of the school year. So, sinasabi dito, wala ng physical portfolio na ipapasubmit sa atin. Okay, for the pre-observation, paragraph number 19 said, the ratee or the teacher and the rater shall agree on the schedule of the classroom observation. The schedule must be set at least 3 working days before the classroom observation. So, dapat 3 days before i-schedule na natin ang ating classroom observation. In the event that agreed observation did not push through due to conflicting schedules, they must reschedule the soonest possible time. Paragraph 20, in case of unforeseen circumstances and fortuitous events that are outside the control of the schools, such as the natural or man-made calamities, concerned schools may be allowed to deviate from the prescribed timeline of conducting classroom observations, provided that that adjusted schedule is approved by the school's division superintendent. Provided further that all applicable classroom observation modes are exhausted prior to submitting the request. So, ibig sabihin, in case daw of unforeseen circumstances, pwede namang i-reschedule. Pwedeng lumagpas dun sa timeline na binigay ng memorandum na to. Kasi sa memorandum na to, ang sabi, the classroom observation should be done during the 4th quarter. So, kung nagkaroon ng mga unforeseen circumstances, pwede lumagpas dun sa timeline na yon. Ang importante, this should be approved by the SDS. Paragraph 21, the default mode of classroom observation shall be in-person or face-to-face observation only. First, in-person lang at saka face-to-face observation ang pwedeng gawing classroom observation. In case of any national or local pronouncement that may affect the operations of the school, the following modes of alternative classroom observation may be considered: online synchronous, online asynchronous, and classroom observation via learning action cell. Paragraph 22, pre-observation conference. Before the conduct of the classroom observation, waitees and waiters shall conduct pre-observation conference to review the classroom observation tool, rubric, appropriate to the level of the waitee to be observed. So, bago daw mag-classroom observation, dapat may pre-conference between the teacher and the rater. Number 23, submission of lesson plan. The ratees or the teachers to be observed shall submit their lesson plan to the rater at least 1 day before the scheduled classroom observation. Dapat hawak na ni rater yung ating classroom, yung ating lesson plan, for review and assessment. For proficient teachers, their lesson plans, activity sheets, or assessment materials shall be given appropriate ratings in the IPCRF. Kasi meron tayong mga PMES indicators na ang hinihinging mode of verification are this lesson plan, activity sheets, or assessment materials. So, dapat nire-rate na rin ito agad-agad ni ratee at ilalagay na agad yung rating sa ating IPCRF. 24, the ratees and raters shall ensure that lesson plans, instructional materials, assessment tools, and other teaching and learning resources to be used during classroom observations reflect those usually employed during regular class days. So, dapat yung mga ginagamit natin dito is yung karaniwan nating ginagamit sa ating regular class days. Hindi dahil magka-classroom observation lang tayo, kaya medyo bongga ang ating mga instructional materials. So, hindi ganon. Kailangan kung anong nangyayari sa ating regular class days, yun yung mga gagawin natin during our classroom observation. On the actual observation, during the actual classroom observation, the ratee shall deliver the lesson. For purposes of rating the performance, classroom observation shall be done for the entire class period. Dapat yung classroom observation ay isasagawa sa buong full period. Hindi yung ika-cut short ni ratee. Kailangang ma-observe ang buong duration ng class period. 26, the rater shall only use the observation notes form to record comment and observation on the teacher's performance. So, kung meron siyang comment and observation, kailangan gamitin niya yung observation notes form. Hindi siya pwedeng mag-interrupt ng klase ni teacher na nire-rate. 27, for highly proficient teachers, colleagues shall be allowed to observe as part of the mentoring and coaching activities. Shall be allowed, hindi required. Okay? On the post-observation, individual rating, the raters rate the performance of teacher using the COT appropriate to the teacher's level. Only those indicators expected to be observed in an observation period as specified in figures 5 and 6 shall be given rating. Ito yung kung nagpili si teacher ng dalawang classroom observation, so yung kung ano lang daw ang in-specify na indicator na kailangan i-observe during that classroom observation, yun lang ang bibigyan ng rating ni rater o ng observer. If there are multiple observers, only the subject specialist is expected to rate objective 1. Pag maraming observer, yung subject specialist lang ang mag-rate ng objective number 1. Kung isa lang ang rater, siya ang mag-rate. Kahit hindi siya subject specialist, siya ang mag-rate ng objective 1. Para sa mga elementary teachers that are generalists, lahat ng observer will inter-observer agreement exercise in case of multiple observers. Pag maraming observer, 2 or 3 observers, raters shall meet to discuss the individual ratings given. In case of different ratings, they shall come up with a final rating. Take note, the final rating shall not be an average but a final rating based on reasoned and consensual judgment. Okay? Kung more than 1 ang ating observer at magkakaiba sila ng rating, hindi ina-average ang rate ng teacher ha. Kailangan daw, they should arrive on a final rating based on reasoned and consensual judgment. Okay? Hindi ina-average. Number 30, post-observation conference. The rater shall conduct a post-observation conference with the ratee to discuss his or her experience and performance during the classroom observation, allowing the ratee to reflect on his or her strengths and areas for improvement and enhancement. Kaya kailangang may post-observation conference. Next one, it is recommended that the post-observation conference is conducted in a supportive and friendly environment. Hindi nag-aakusa or hindi nanlalait. It should be on a supportive and friendly environment. 32, during the post-classroom observation conference, teaching materials and documents such as activity sheets, assessment materials, assessment results, and other materials shall be given appropriate ratings in the IPCRF for non-classroom observable objectives. So, itong mga materials na ginamit natin, dapat agad-agad bibigyan na rin ng rating ni observer para sa ating mga non-classroom observable indicators. And it should be written on the IPCRF rating straight away. Letter D, assessment of non-classroom observation-related objectives. The ratee shall consistently demonstrate achievement of non-classroom observable objectives throughout the school year, as teaching and learning activities such as LAC sessions, coaching and mentoring sessions, learning programs, and others are conducted. Number 34, ratees are expected to provide evidence and documentation of demonstration and achievement of the objectives promptly rather than waiting for the end-of-year assessment. So, yung mga evidence and documentation daw, dapat mai-provide na natin straight away at maparate na natin. Hindi na natin kailangang maghintay pa ng end of school year para sa assessment. Such evidence and documents are cross-cutting and targeting multiple objectives, which means that there is no need to reproduce or duplicate copies of the documents per objective. Halimbawa, yung ating lesson plan, pwedeng 1, 2, or 3 non-classroom observable indicator ang pwede nating paglagyan nun, or 2, 3, or 4 na classroom observable indicator na nagre-require ng lesson plan as a means of verification. Hindi na natin kailangan ipa-duplicate yun. Straight away, i-rate na agad ni rater para dun sa kung ilang indicator pumapasok yung lesson plan mo. The rater shall then assess this evidence and provide ratings using the tool appropriate to the level of the teacher. Again, no portfolio for performance assessment shall be collected. Hindi na po magko-collect. Hindi na maghihingi si rater or ang school na pagsasubmit ng ating portfolio. Computation of rating. The weight per objective shall be as follows. So, for each objective 1 to 14 will be 7.140%, which is a total of 100% for 14 objectives, both for proficient and highly proficient teachers. Number 40, all classroom observable indicators shall be measured using the following performance indicators: quality and efficiency. Lahat ng classroom observable indicator ay i-rate lang according to quality and efficiency. Quality shall be measured through the demonstration of the classroom observable indicators during the classroom observation and the submission of the rating sheet. So, yung quality, i-base lang kung paano tayo nag-perform. And the efficiency shall be measured through the demonstration and achievement of the PPST-based objectives within the prescribed time. For repeating objectives in the case of option A with 2 full period classroom observation, the final rating shall be computed by averaging. Kung tayo ay pumili ng dalawang classroom observation, meron sa dalawang classroom observation na merong objective na parehong nire-rate sa dalawa. So, kukunin natin yung average to get our final rating. Illustrative samples for rating quality. So, ganito. Kung halimbawa, objective 1 tayo, so parehong nire-rate yun sa both classroom observation 1 and 2. So, kukunin natin yung result ng rating sheet 1 at rating sheet 2, tapos kukunin natin yung average. Ganon din para sa master teacher or sa mga highly proficient teachers. Ganon din. On the other hand, non-classroom observable indicators shall be measured only on quality as performance indicator. Quality lang, wala ng timeliness, wala ng efficiency. To assist both waitees and raters in identifying potential documents that serve as proof of demonstration and achievement of objectives, Figure 7 and 8 present a matrix of documentation options for this purpose. So, ito yung mga document na means of verification na nare-require para sa bawat objective. So, ayan yun. Hindi na natin yan i-discuss for this video. So, I decided na i-discuss natin to on a separate video kasi masyado nang mahaba ang video na to. Okay? So, ibubukod natin ng pagdi-discuss ang tungkol sa mga matrix of documentation for proficient teachers and highly proficient teachers. So, yun yung mga documents na kailangan nating ihanda para as means of verification for each objective. So, that's it for our video. Sana nakapulot kayo ng aral and learning para sa video na ito. And I'll see you again on our next video. Don't forget to smile and share love to everyone. Please like and share this video kung meron kayo napulot na aral at kung nagustuhan yung video na to. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching Teacher Rocky's video. I'll see you again in our next video. Bye!